welcome to another installment of Metalhead Central, the show where I take an honest look at the harder side of music and give it an honest rating. Prepare the drones, folks! And no, I don't mean those miniature helicopter things that have become extremely controversial in recent years. No. I mean fire up your drone metal, because today we're taking a look at the progenitors of that very subgenre. That's right, it's SUNN, SUNN-O or whatever, and their new album, Life Metal, which was released April 25th on Southern Lord Recordings. I've never ever reviewed an album off of this label before. I have heard of them. I've heard that they deal in a lot of the doomy and the sludgy kind of stuff. So we'll see how this goes. Now, SUNN is a band that you want to both fall asleep to and completely rage to. It's one of those groups that, kind of like Bell Witch, they try and do things as slow and tired, yet as ridiculously heavy as possible. There are no drums here, folks. No drums at all, so I have nothing to comment on there this week. Nothing at all. It's just a couple dudes with their guitars cranked up to 1,000,000, put through as many amplification devices as possible. Sounds kind of like a recipe for musical disaster, but when you listen to it, it kind of works in a very strange way. Again, like Bell Witch's Mirror Reaper from 2 years ago, this is a marathon of an album. It's only 4 songs, but it runs for 1 hour and 9 minutes. This is not for the casual metal fan. This is for the person, especially the doom metal fan, who wants to flip on an album and sit around and do nothing for over 1 hour, like I just did. Okay, so maybe reviewing the album is important, but the point still remains. Now, this is an album filled to the brim with doomy riffs. I mean, these are riffs that are played so slowly, it's difficult to categorize them as riffs. Mirror Reaper was quicker than Life Metal. Skepticism would be considered Dragon Force-esque speed metal or Archspire-esque technical death metal stacked up against this album. Molasses runs faster! You get my point? Good. But among the slow and seemingly detached riffage does lie a bit of a connection between the songs, which is nice. Every song has its own identity, but when they are put together, they work on another level. It's almost like you're entering another plane of musical existence when you put this album on. It makes you want to sit back and contemplate the world around you while these two dudes drone on and on in your ears. However, on the downside, while the album is kind of good, its length and its speed do work against it. After a while, one can get quite bored listening to the same droning over and over again. Becomes very repetitive, and to utilize the term that I coined last week, at least I think I coined it, it becomes more of that elevator music, that metal elevator music. You forget that it's on, and then an hour later you go, oh, wow, I just listened to an entire studio album. Its speed is also an issue here. After a while, you begin to miss the quickness of some other bands, and you just want that little bit of musical variety in order to help balance things out a bit. Yeah, I know, it's a doom metal release, and I get that it's supposed to be slow, that's fine. But there are other doom metal bands out there who have been able to do the slow and the heavy with a bit of musical variety that helps keep the listener hooked. Here, it's just after and it feels like they're playing the same chords over and over and over again. It feels very uncreative. With Mirror Reaper, the track was just one big long song. That entire album is just one big long song. And it was beautifully mixed and extremely well paced, and there was some variety in it that kept the listener hooked. Here on Life Metal, it's just kind of blasé. Overall, SUNN have put forward an album that kind of does something amazing. It's just as interesting as it is bland and boring. I was listening to it, and there was a part of me that, yeah, I kind of wanted to stop, but something pushed me forward. Maybe it was the wonderful guest vocals on the first track, or maybe it was because they did just barely enough to keep me entertained throughout the entire album. So I'm kind of indifferent to it. Is it the greatest thing since Master of Puppets? No. Is it the worst thing since Justin Bieber? No. It's a metal album that just kind of exists in its own little world. Some people will love it, some will hate it, but one thing's for sure, people will listen to it. This thing already has like 45,000 views on YouTube. It's amazing. I know it was like a big record store day release, and they were streaming it on NPR, National Public Radio. National Public Radio with the metal album. That's kind of odd. So anyway, in light of all of that, I'm giving Life Metal by the band SUNN a 78 out of 100 on the YPS scale. Thank you so much for watching. Click like and subscribe for more Metalhead Central. And hey, don't forget to check out my new series, the Metal Artist Review Show, where we take a look at the discographies of some of metal's greatest and or most influential artists, album by album. Next week here at Metalhead Central, we're going to be diving into the realm of melodic Viking metal. Get out your swords and your ships and your other Viking paraphernalia as we delve into Amon Amarth's new album, Berserker. I can't wait. Twilight of the Thunder God is one of my favorite metal albums of all time. And yeah, it should be a lot of fun. I hope you'll join me. You've been watching Metalhead Central, where I give honest ratings to honest music, and I'll see you all next time.